right, man, ready to roll?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, cool. All right, what's going on YouTube or SoundCloud or wherever you're listening from? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Sawa, Japan. Pinku Style Garage, as you guys know, for the guys who don't know, new to the channel. I'm Donald Jackson, Pinku Style, owner and operator of the only gaijin performance shop legally in Japan. So I can say that with confidence. Today we got my guy Kyle here. Kyle reached out to me on Instagram, and like I told you guys, man, I'm not like I'm looking to talk to all my buddies collectively. So definitely, man, if you guys want to get on the podcast, you got something to talk about, you got a story to tell or whatever, I'm never too big to talk to anybody, man. And this, for me, again, it's therapeutic because, again, I got my PTSD issues with Iraq and all that stuff. And I don't talk to people a lot throughout the day. So this podcast, on top of getting other people's circle out there, it also, helps me get things out of my mind, because you stay in your mind too much, shit goes bad, man. You think about things like, what did he say, or all that shit. So anyway, man, I'm not here to talk about myself. I got my guest here, Kyle. So Kyle, just introduce yourself, man, a little bit about what you do.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What you're
into. So I'm just a car guy, man. Love cars, love being around them. My background is in graphic design, marketing, and advertising. So I figured I'd take that and benefit it to our crew. Basically, a bunch of the dudes that we got hanging around Whiteman Air Force Base.
Okay. So, and like about yourself, like you're from, like how did you get into cars, man? Because I always ask everybody that, because it's always different, man. What got you into cars, man, the first time around?
Super different. Grew up with a grandfather, 42-year Chevy car dealer. And then my other grandpa worked on carburetors in town. So I kind of grew up with a dad that was around cars, but never really got deep down into them. So when I had a chance, I jumped at it, learned a little bit from my grandparents, and just kind of went with it.
Yeah. So I mean, so you said you use Chevy. So I mean, did he embed into you like you can't buy Fords and stuff like
that? Crazy enough, he kind of switched towards the end. So you had one that was a Chevy certified mechanic, and then you had one that would sell like Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, that kind of thing. So I kind of started on that domestic side of things, dirt track racing, things like that. But obviously, JDM just kind of took over.
Right. Yeah, man, it's like kind of crazy how that is, man, because like, I'm from Baltimore, man, and like a lot of the guys back there, they were all back in high school. I was the only guy with an import in a student parking lot, which was cool enough to be able to have a car in high school, and had the 240, and everybody else had Crown Vics and Caprices, Marauders, which pretty much Marauder is same Mercury.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just the Mercury version of the Vic.
Yeah, it's the same goddamn thing. So pretty much all of them, when they be behind me, man, I'm like, dude, I'd be kind of scared, because back in the day, you see the two little square lights. It's like that's cops. It's like it's fucking James, man. But yeah, man. So like I was the only guy there, and then they would all rag on my shit. And it was back then. It was a can. I mean, it was all dented up and everything. And yeah, man, they would clown on. Actually, I'm skipping ahead. Okay. I had a Celica ST. A front wood leaked. Everything leaked. It was battered, and I had temp plates on it, so it wasn't even registered and everything, man. And but yeah, that's so. What was your first ride, man? What was your first car?
First ride, other than my parents' minivan, I took my driver's test in Grand Voyager. I moved into an '88 Honda Accord. It was a LXI 4-door. Automatic, terrible. Just $285,000 when I got it for $400. Put about $315 on it before finding a Civic hatch EG.
Okay, so Honda was your
yeah.
So did you swap anything into it? EG?
B18. Just a B18 B1.
B1,
little turbo on it. So nothing crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy, man, because that's like that makes me smile, because that was my entry level, man.
Good.
Honda. I think my first swap was a ZC into a EF.
Okay.
And and that's how all my guys Honda got. Back in the East Coast, man. It's like it's the entry level was Civic, because that's the cheapest thing. And then we were like beating the other guys, because they had the B18, they wanted B1s or whatever with the turbos, GSRs, and they were beating the older guys, because they were like kind of like. When I got in the game, the guys that was around, they were still like kind of the muscle car stuff and the higher end imports. So they weren't really looking at Civics and everything. So we would come out there. After about 3 races, they were like, dude, don't race the red hatch with Stillies on it. Just leave that guy alone, because he's going to roast you, man. But yeah, man, Honda's, a lot of guys, knock it, man, but Hondas was my gateway into it. I think I got out of the game of Honda a little bit right when the K engine came out, the K20, and everybody started doing those. That was a little bit. That was a little bit out of reach at that time.
Yes.
And now, I mean, they're plentiful, but it's crazy to see. I know you're laughing at it when you see all these guys with the going crazy over the K2024 swaps with.
It's wild. Yeah, I'm like, we did this way back. We couldn't afford it at the time, so we would have been way ahead if we had the money.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. But the cool thing, and I know, like, again, you're a little older in the game, man, and some of the young guys, they're used to the drag and drop builds where you just go to wiring specialties, you go to Collins adapters, and you just click. I got an LS in this car, and this car, and this car, submit, and then you wait 3 weeks, and then you're good to go. Man. Yep. So I know you remember going to the junkyards pulling this axle from a cord.
We still do. Just for the drift cars now, so it's a little different. Rear ends, just looking to weld up diffs every other weekend, probably.
Yep. Trust me, I got a shop here, and I just welded a diff the other day because I was like, this is fun stuff, and I ain't got time to, I'm minimizing my own stuff to. It's you got to put money into the business, man. So again, before we get too deep into it, man, it's definitely plug your social media stuff and where you guys can find you.
Everything for us is going to be at SkiddyBois. So SkiddyBois. Just kind of started as a group, Facebook group, me and the homies. So it was just a group chat, and then we were like, you know what? It's all the homies that are drifting or working on drag cars. Let's just make a thing out of it. We'll show up as a little crew and we'll see what we can do to benefit. But yeah, just hashtag SkiddyBois, YouTube, Facebook, a little bit of everything. Our YouTube's kind of slacking. That's my issue because we try to get event prep in as well. So
yeah. So definitely regarding so you guys like a conglomerate of guys is like car guys or whatever, man. Like what where are you guys like normally based? Like what state?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Missouri, middle of the map. Like it's crazy. Yeah. We're at Whiteman Air Force Base. So what it is it's half DoD employees and then half active duty Air Force. So you kind of have like an opportunity for guys that are coming from different areas with different backgrounds in different drift communities or car communities. And then we're just kind of giving them a place like, hey, we're here. We do this. We work on cars. If you want to hang out, come on out. So
that's dope, man.
Yeah, it's dope. So if you live in like Guam and you're coming over and you're like, man, Missouri, garbage, flyover state, not fun at all. It gives them an opportunity to kind of just come in and be a part of the crew.
Yeah. That's nice, man. Because a lot of guys, instead of like complaining about like the scene sucks, you guys are definitely making a change there and putting it on a map, so to speak, and everything, man. So like the one thing is I'm pretty sure you guys probably submitted your tracks or anything to like Drift Spot, because Drift Spots while Drift Spots went down, I'm a moderator there, but it's a cool place because you can see all the venues to drift, like all the skid pads, the circulate tracks or whatever. Even in Japan, I put a few down there, man. So it just pretty much shows like all the stuff there. So if you haven't submitted your stuff there, definitely do that.
Sure.
And then as far as the guys are there who, you mentioned DOD and Air Force guys. The guys who are watching, maybe watching, man. I'm prior Air Force TT1. Did about 6 years in the Air Force as a vehicle operator. Spent 3 years in Iraq. 1 year volunteered. 2 years volunteered. 1 year in my AEF cycle. And pretty much used every dime of that money went towards drifting. Like every dime, Like I didn't pay any bill. Well, I didn't pay any bills that I should have paid.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, but it's like, hey man, you kind of, when you go to Iraq, man, and you sprint that stuff, he's like, dude, I don't know when I'm going to check out of here. So I want to enjoy my time on Earth. Kind of was a good thing and a bad thing. Cause after I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm not going back anymore after 2011. Cause it kind of was shutting down. I was like, fuck man, I should have paid that credit card off and everything.
Yes, definitely.
But hey, it's life, man. I'm here now. And things are going cool, man. But yeah, man, that's dope because also Missouri was where I went to tech school at in Fort Leonard Wood.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I spent 7 weeks there, and weird mornings, 5 a.m, waking up is like this weird misty dew. We were running in every morning and everything. And I was only there about 6 weeks. And for me, man, actually, Missouri was the roads where we trained at were like cool. Like I was like, dude, I like to have my car here because it was like, tollgate style.
You got some hilly, you got some hills. Yeah. You got some pretty wild stuff. We got the flat spots too, so we'll go out. We'll hit like just random parking lots with approval, of course. If not, it's Mexico.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's great. It's good.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Cause like pretty much, man. Like I say, once I get my business is like it's about 4.5 years here. It definitely is a lot of sacrifice to run a business in Japan as a foreigner, man. They don't make it easy. And once I get things more like I got like 6-7 months of buffer where I'm not like worrying about the next month, because I mean honestly, I tell guys honestly that's how it's month to month. That's why I'm very on the go. I try to slow down sometimes with customers, but I don't like wasting time. I don't like wasting my time and customers' time, man. So once I get a buffer 6-7 months, and once Corona clears, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit.
Yes.
Once Corona clears out, I plan on returning. And also, there's some stuff I don't release now, but if it works out, you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of my face in America, man. So I'll tell you offline about that. But but yeah, man. So like again, the guys there, are you like permanently fixed there, or you like
RB Drift, he's a fan of RBs. He's got a couple of S13s, a couple of S14s. He's the lead mechanic for our auto hobby shop on base. So I know you know all about that. It's the rented program where you go into the shop, you pay your $5 an hour to use the lift, $250 for a flat stall. You get all the tools you need, a little bit of help depending on the guys that work there. But Ray, I mean, it's great because he's affixed here. So we've got the opportunity for alignment racks, any kind of thing that we need. So having our own shop is kind of just one of those toss-ups right now. We need space for some of our cars, but we can always pay for storage, work on different people's vehicles. So we kind of do our own little thing out of the shop. And so the 6 or 7 of us that are here. So what's cool is that if anybody does leave, we still keep communication with them. We got a guy in Misawa right now, actually. His name's Dozy. He has a right-hand drive, like orange Supra. Real cool dude.
Okay.
And so it's neat because we're here, so dudes are always going to be around, and we're in the middle of the country. So we travel wherever, or Oklahoma or St. Louis.
So you mentioned you said this guy here in Misawa. His name is Orange Supra, or is it JZ 7 or 80?
Orange. It's JZ. It's a Mark IV. I don't know.
Because I'm not sure. You sure he's like guaranteed in Misawa?
No, I just asked him this morning. I was like, yo, he was like, I've definitely heard of his shop. He's been there roughly 6 or 7 months.
Okay, he just got
here.
He's still F and G, man. He just got in there.
Yeah,
he just got it. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably most guys, and that's one thing about my shop, man. The guys who are here, and they're kind of conflicted regarding my shop. Because I am not high strung, man, but I'm just I'm very to the point. So some guys, most guys, if I didn't do my own work, I wouldn't be here in this place. So I understand when a guy, I don't take offense when the guy's like, I'll do it myself. Like I was that same guy, so I don't be like, dude, you should
he's
leave
that
it to
way,
professionals. So hey man, it doesn't matter to me. I don't take it to heart. But some guys, they all assume because I don't hang out at the meets and stuff like that with the guys here that I'm like standoff. It's just like, dude. They see Misawa, but what they don't see is an international business. I do exporting, I do shipping and parts and stuff like that outside of my regular performance work, which is primary. So it's just, man, honestly, between my shop, it's just my kids, man. I don't even do my own stuff. So it's like, it's just, after about 10 years, and again, I got a good amount of money in the bank, then I can kind of throttle back a little bit. But it's just right now, it's just go because I can't. I'm like 2 months ahead of thinking, today.
And you have
so it's
to,
just,
and you have to, yeah.
And I mean, most people say, 2 months, you got to be further than that. It's like, I don't have to rush because I have the market sort of cornered here, but in a performance shop.
You do, yeah.
But it's just for the guys out there who may be watching, man. It's just if you have any misconceptions, just hit me up. I'll definitely clear those. And the odds are, man, one thing I don't do, man, I would never listen to if a guy said, hey man, Kyle's a fucking jerk, man. And he did this. I'm like, let me talk to Kyle first, and I'll make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, I think, in this game, and I know guys out there like that.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like they rather take another fucking dude's like word and not your own, man. So regarding you guys' events, man, you should event coordinating. Like, what do you I want to say the level, but like, what do you guys do for events and everything? Or how do how do you guys like set up events?
We with ours, it's kind of right now. It's more of us just participating at somebody else's event and kind of partnering with them. Track rentals kind of high, obviously.
Yeah, and insurance.
Here in the Midwest, it's nuts. It's just because there's only 2 or 3 tracks right next to us. So closest track to us is about a 2-hour drive.
Right.
In the middle of Kansas. It's a good time. It's just a flat skid.
My bad. So you definitely know Tokyo Drift. That's
Oh
right?
yeah, we know Tokyo really well. Hyperdrive, the whole crew.
I had Woodbury on in like episode. He was on my early one. I got to get him back on because he was the one I spent. He was so fucking patient, man. We spent 40 minutes trying to sync. It was just not working, and it was something was wrong. And he was man. But my bad, I cut you off in there, man. But
no. He's great. Yeah. I mean, I gotta show him some support. That's their hat right there. If it pops up, there it goes. KC Drift. So it's like our local drift organization. Tokyo was a huge part of that. Dan Moore, all the crew. So the good part now, we got some new guys in there. It's a little fresher of an attitude, but we still have the old school guys running the grid. So the grid is nice. Everything runs smoothly, and then we can be as flashy as we want with tandems or any kind of comps on the side, that kind of thing. So it's really good stuff.
It's crazy, man. I'm in Japan. I was just at the track yesterday testing the 1UZ S13 before I sell it.
Oh, nice.
And it's like it's weird, man. It shouldn't feel like this, but it's like, dude, I talked to you. I talked to Tokyo. I talked to all my different guys, man. It's like, dude, I want to get back to the States and drive because it's While I'm here, man, I do got a good amount of Japanese buddies, but it's just I don't know, man. Like it's just the guys that are here, American wise, they're just somewhat difficult to deal with because they don't know if they want to be cool or Tokyo Drift guy or whatever. And then like the Japanese already have their own little cliques. They don't really need anybody else. So the Japanese roll in groups of like 5. Like you got 5. So like. Yesterday, I met up with like 2 different groups of guys, but they don't talk to each other. They'll talk to me because I'm a neutral.
Wild.
I'm a neutral guy, but they'll walk right by each other. They don't intermingle.
Yeah.
So at the track, like there was actually Nakamura had an event yesterday, but I was busy. I didn't get there and everything. And the day before, and like if I was to go there, I know I would see like about at least 13 to 15 crews, just all in their little patch, parked together. They separate by tires. They don't make eye contact. They don't loan tools. They don't nothing. They just,
exact opposite. Exact opposite here. It's all family, all love.
Yeah. I definitely want to get back there and everything. Like I said, offline, when we wrap up, I'll tell you about what's going to go down in the future. But it's like I definitely want to get back over there because also when I left America, I was just I did Old Dominion Speedway twice, and then my last event was an MI. What's the MIR or VIR?
VIR.
No,
Virginia International.
Was that the MIR? Which ones they do Drift Nirvana at? It's MIR?
Maryland.
MIR is
Maryland
MIR is a drag strip.
That's
a drag strip. Fuck was the
It's got to be VIR or
Summit
Spirit JP Summit. Shenandoah.
Summit. Summit is where I did it was the first like 100 days or whatever. Drift Nirvana or whatever, man. And
Drift Nirvana,
I had like RT615s on my just freshly boosted KA, and RT615s wasn't my skill level, man, so I couldn't break them loose. Well, I was scared to.
It's just too grippy.
Too grippy, so I took those off, put some scrappers on the back. Charlie Tyson, who you may or may not know, he was out there like, yeah, man, put those used tires on and hike the fucking pressure up to 60.
Yeah, just get them as high as you can.
Yeah. And after that, I was like, man, fuck this, man. I'm gonna go to the skid pad. I just spent my whole day on the skid pad.
Oh, that's great though. That's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, Dan, rapper Dan was there, Yoshi and all those guys, all East Coast dudes. They were all there and doing their thing, man. So, but have you been to Japan before?
No, have not. What's crazy is that's kind of one of the goals, obviously, of anyone here in America that's drifting. Everyone wants to go Ebisu or Bisu, however you want to say it. In Missouri, it's a Bisu.
I'll say Bisu. I'll say the same thing. Man.
But what's crazy is it's just like we've got Misawa, you've got Okinawa, we've got opportunities to get over there. We can stay in TLF, we can figure it out. We'll sleep in a tent. We don't care. So we're at that point where we're going to just have to start grouping a little bit of money together and just going. Because we've got homies that came back and we're like, oh, yeah, you got to go. And I'm like, how? Family, life, the drip season.
Yeah. It's the same deal. I've been here since '08, and I've only been home once, and that was I had to go home to get my driver license. So I kind of didn't announce it because I didn't want. I kept it covert, and then I was told I met up with my racing team, Midnight Riders or whatever. Like was disbanded now, but it's pretty much a group of the guys. But we met up, and I was like, dudes, we took pictures. Where I'm like, dudes, don't post any pictures until I leave.
Yeah.
And sure enough, somebody couldn't contain it, man. He put a picture up, and everybody started tagging, like, "Hey, man, you're in town." Like, dude,
oh
no. Yeah, so I got out of there, but I've only been home once in 10 years, and I don't count that as being home. And I was in and out, and even that, like planning things, getting my family set up here, and getting back, and then I spent $2,800 like flying and everything, man. So I would say, like, for the guys who are looking to come over, this is like a general thing for the guys out there.
Okay.
Guys looking to come over after Corona stops. The plane ticket is going to be very low for a little bit because they lost a ton of money. So the plane tickets will be a little bit lower, and then I would say after about 2 or 3 months they'll spike back up to normal and everything. So it is what it is, that stuff. But as far as in BC, you mentioned at BC they have a camping ground there. You can there's a open free you can stay in there. So like Australian guys, Stewie, they would come over and stay there for a month. Long as you clean up, long as you not like making it a hotel. You gotta every morning you gotta clean up your stuff and put your stuff back in the corner. Can't leave anything there. And so you can actually stay in the beach like for free. You just gotta find an onsen to take shower and stuff like that. But it's definitely doable, man. Like you say, you mentioned your guy Masao, which I'm pretty sure at some point he'll need my assistance, buy parts or whatever.
Yep.
I'll be here. But as far as Masao, man, I got a decent amount of cars. I got like space up here. What I'm actually gonna do for the guys who are gonna travel, I'm trying to make like a little Airbnb on my lot here.
Oh, that'd be dope.
And for the guys that are like transit that way, like, cause I mean, I'm honestly, I know people don't want to stay in people's houses and stuff like that. And they just want to have their own little area. So I might set that up here probably next spring. Get some little 20-foot containers and stack them and have like split them in two and everything. Yeah. So that'd be pretty cool. Have those 4 people there, man. But, so that's definitely when you guys looking at getting over here, definitely you definitely got me as a contact.
Okay.
And make it happen, man. So, but yeah, man. So far as the one thing I see, man, is with Formula Drift definitely taking off there, man. Like, you got any guys going towards that, or guys like
it's pretty interesting.
What's your thoughts on that, man?
My thoughts on it, we're kind of old. A lot of the dudes coming in, a lot of the guys that are kind of mainstays here, we're all like in our 30s. We're like just getting into our 30s. I'm not saying it's too late, but one of them things is the benefit we get from working on people's cars, being around the scene. I think if we could be more of a team for somebody coming up, it would greatly benefit us. Because we like being around. Obviously, with this season, it was put on hold. It started late. The first round was St. Louis. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So we were there right away. We got a couple of local guys, but it's more of just rooting for the home team kind of thing. So it's like, a guy that knows a guy. Everybody goes and shows support. We're not quite there yet. We've been together as a crew for like 8 months maybe. But because we know different people from different groups and everybody's kind of a part of it, the experience is there. But driving experience, maybe 2 or 3 guys, 5-6 years in. So as far as like pro cards or pro am or things like that, it's more about right now for us. It's all seat time.
Right, that's good to hear, man. A lot of dudes, I think, also looking in. I will admit, man, I kind of didn't. I was so focused on D1 when I got to Japan that I didn't like FD didn't. I mean, I knew it was there. I went to the very first event in Wall, New Jersey, and most of some. I mean, the only guy out of all the crews around was like I think Angelo is still kind of active, maybe, and then like Forsberg. Everybody else is like they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. Like Alex Pfeiffer, Casper Knoll,
all
those Reese Millen, and
Reese.
all those guys, man. Who's the other guy? Samuel Hubernett
with all them weird cars.
All those guys are gone, man, or just like gave it up. But it's crazy to see how it's changed. The live streaming definitely is a cool thing because it puts people there from all around the world. And then I will tell you guys, the guys again I mentioned on the other podcast, the Japanese are like now admiring the American builds, man. So it's not
some LS's, man.
Yeah. So it's just what the amount of car that guys are making to make that same car in the Japan would cost like double the amount. because the way they're set up, and also if they want those parts, some guys are running a Siki quick change. So they want those parts. You got to pay for freight to get it over. My one guy who just won the last 2 rounds of Ibisu, Masanori, my local guy up here, he's running a Siki quick change and 2JZ and some other stuff. So they're definitely reaching out. They don't really reach out to me for whatever reason. They got another guy that orders their stuff for them. But it's whatever. They still got it to support America. My thing is my shop. While I will, HKS is cool. Tomy is cool, but
yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
There is. I can't spend that premium, man. When I can get that same part. I get that same part for cheaper outside of Japan. I'm gonna do that. So when I pull up yesterday with the 1UZ S13, I had the Collins adapter kit. I had some stuff from Australia. I got my ECUs from South Africa.
Wow.
And I'm like, I paid this much for it. I'm like, they're like, oh, this. I'm like, dude, you can spend that much or you can spend this much. So I got to do his business card, gave my card. He's like, I'm going to call you. I was like, all right, cool, man. So one Japanese person at a time.
Convert them. Convert them.
So, but I mean, that's my thing, man. My mission is just to, I don't, again, being here, man, for 12 years, I'm totally jaded. So, like, when I see Skylines or whatever, I'm like, all right, whatever. Ferrari passed me the other day. I don't even look back because you see him a bunch.
Yeah, see, for us,
cars enough for me, man.
It's the hype. It's all the hype train. What can we get? When can we have it? How fast can we get it here? Right. So S15s are like hot commodity. It's one of those things. It's coming soon. So everybody's just kind of low key waiting. A couple more years, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely understand something that wasn't there already. Like, I mean, it's one thing is hard to sell. Is like if you get a Aristo with GS300, it's like, all right, dude, we already got those over here. So I mean, this is left-hand drive, or trying to sell the Sora, Aristo, anything that's already there is hard to sell unless it's like a C33 or a JZX81, which the Cresta.
Yeah, the Cresta.
So those are kind of sell because it's already 1J powers, right-hand drive. You got the metal door handles, but it's still the Cresta. I mean,
exactly.
It's the same thing, man. So some of those cars are hard to sell. RX-7s don't actually sell as much because the Supers don't sell as much as people think because they're left their right-hand drive and they like models there already. So it's like I'm not going to pay $35K for a right-hand drive variant of my car. It's just not. It's
if you've already got it, Here, everybody's chaser. YouTube kind of plays a little into that. Obviously, LZ and people like that. Taylor Ray is one of the dudes I like watching. He actually puts in work on the cars. But what's crazy is it's the cars that people are going for nowadays. I'm like, there's so many better cars that I would be interested in. We've got plenty of FCs. And I prefer the FCs over the FDs right now because our FDs are looking like 30, 35, 40. Yeah. And then all the Supras are going for 40. They bumped once the 890 came. So my buddy Supra, he's awesome. He's great. He's in the crew. It needs some work. It needs some time and effort. But, I mean, it'll go for 50 any day here. And that's insane to me. It's just insane.
Yeah, man. It's the market.
Get 2 chasers or get 2 Cressidas, 3 Cressidas.
Yeah. The right now I got outside my window I got a 90 JZX90 in stores and I got 3 100s in storage. The JZX90s in stores because the guy if you're familiar with the guy, he went to Korea, so Korea they can't really.
Yes.
He's a E4 and they can't take their car.
He got a year. Yep.
So he left it here for a year. He might try to bounce back, but if not, he's going to ship it out to Texas or whatever. But so that's a cool thing about my shop thing right here is, again, I keep my distance so somewhat from the guys from base for specific reasons, but at the same time, the guys who want to use me again in storage, I got about 6 or 7 cars stored. Guys just like drop them off, pay their fee. Then I don't they charge shipping later, so that gives them time to save their money for the shipping fee, and it works out, man. So it's definitely a good asset to have me here, having a logistical guy here. And get stuff around. So like for the guys who are watching out there too, I'm not an exporter, but I work closely with an exporter who's actually in the States right now doing FD rounds, and we set everything up. So I mean I've done to date 123 cars, and I think I got 5 currently like in transit. Jeez. And so it's not hard. It's only hard when you're doing illegal shit. Yep. It's only hard when you're doing illegal shit. If you're legal, it's your paperwork is like that thin. The car is 25 years old. It doesn't. It passes
Exactly,
California.
exactly.
California, you guys. Yeah, California guys are little. Can't help you there, man.
No, not
California,
at all.
they're gonna dick you, man. So just send it to Seattle, and then go up there and pick it up. That's what I would do. So,
That's what I've been
yeah.
thinking. We've got some spots like we get motors and stuff off crate from like up the Missouri River, so we can get them there. But everything's got to be Seattle, Texas, somewhere else. So for
Nothing
us,
in
it's
Cali.
worth the drive. Yeah, it's worth the drive.
Yeah, it's definitely and that's I like money. I like making money. Everybody likes making money, but when guys hit me up, they're like, "Hey man, I want to get a 2JG VV tablet." I'm like, "Dude, it is not it is not cheaper. It's more expensive here."
They're going for like $6K right now.
Yeah, I posted up on the dude Jelani's posted because he posted up about the 2J. I'm like, dude, it's up there because it's up here, and when the guys are buying the engines from here, if they buy a 2J from here, which honestly I don't. There's 2Js in America already and everything. So when they buy a 2J from here, you're going to get the price plus the domestic stuff plus shipping, which is $20. Right now with Corona, to ship an engine before it was about $1,800 on one crate to your door 4 days from my shop to your door. But now it's about 24 to 26 or something with the whole Corona stuff, man. The hikes. So it's just, I'm like, dude, it's not. I'm like, dude, find a guy in America, go on the forums, buy it there. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you don't want to trust me. You don't want to buy it from me because it's going to be, you're going to, you know, I mean, that's how I look out for the scene is I've been around the scene for 22 years now and I've seen people get fucked left and right. And I do my part to kind of not contribute to that, man. So it's like, you know, I just come back, man. So as far as the scene, man, you've been in the game for a little time, man. In the scene, like, what would you grade it from when you started to like now? Or do you think social media played a part in kind of more drama?
Yes, definitely. It's always going to be one of them experience cues, man. It's interesting to see. I mean, I'll be 33 tomorrow. Right. So
happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is thinking back to like 03, 04.
Right.
Everything I ever wanted. Hey, these are the cars. These are the things. I mean, even just angle back then was not even there on some of these cars for Formula D. So it's crazy stateside seeing cars that were never really getting truly sideways. It's just nuts. But social media in general, it's a tool, but it can only be used. It can only be used a certain way. And when you play that game, it's tricky, you know, if you're doing the clickbait stuff or that kind of attitude. When you go to an event and you're like, hey, come talk to me, come see me. If I come talk to you and come see you, I want to have a communication chain. You know, I want to be able to communicate with you, see what you guys are working on, that kind of thing. So people are opening themselves up, but they're not open. So they'll show you a glimpse. Hey, we're tuning this Supra. Come check it out at this event. I show up at the event. Nobody's near the car. There's nobody there. No one to communicate with. Just to kind of get an idea, like, hey, who did the welds on this? Who did this? Stuff like that. So the actual nuts and bolts of it don't seem to be there. It's things like this photo behind me, but not realizing the time and effort that went into even just a G35 sedan. You know, so I can go sideways. I can look cool. It's, you know, it's the hot boy thing. It's the style thing, but then it's form versus function, back and forth. So with social media, hot boy is kind of what gets the photos, gets the leads. So when we go to an event, we're taking fourth and fifth with a 4-door sedan, stock motor G35 against a bunch of Beamers, you know, LS cars. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those, again, also looking in, man. I think a lot of guys would benefit from like just getting seat time versus like taking a year and a half, 2 years off to build this badass tubed everything car, and then they get out there and wreck the first like 3 laps.
Oh yeah.
And it looks pretty. I mean, there's like testing. Like yesterday, I was doing a 1UZ S13, and it has like, you know, it's the standard because for SR it's like the standard 8 kilogram 6 spring rates or whatever.
Yes.
And you could just tell, like, even with the dampers maxed out, the engine is a little bit heavier than the SR, and just when you brake, it kind of it dives. So I'm compensating for that a little bit. And the guys knew I mean, they heard the V8, so they knew it was a test session. So they weren't like, you know, I was flat spinning a lot because it was just like I got stock knuckles, so I can go way beyond that. So it's like I'm like waiting for the car to stabilize and then like clutch kick and keep going.
When is it coming around?
Yeah, because it's just like all right, any minute now and then like go, and it's like it's kind of cool when you to the point where you need a little bit more angle, but when you got wide strap and all that stuff, and you haven't even mastered stock angle, I just shake my head at it because I'm like it's wasted money. That money could have went to seat time. That money could have went to some needed mods and everything. And it's just the thing where I see a lot of guys get into the game, and of course, us being ambassadors of drifting, we want to make sure the young guys come in because you're 33 tomorrow, and I'm 37 now, so we're gonna kind of want to pass that torch off so it stays. And a lot of the guys that get in the game, they buy these cars and they get discouraged and they're like, quit, sell it, and then you see that or they get somebody pregnant. You see that thing.
Yeah, and the car's gone, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, dude. What happened? I guess you were on the computer before it like kind of cut out or whatever, or.
Yeah. I don't know if like my internet line dropped or what.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We got the magic over here. I'll edit it, man. So you remember what we were talking about?
Yeah, we were talking. We were basically just talking about you tested out the 1UZ, how it was dipping.
Yeah.
In the front end.
Yeah, for the suspension and all that stuff, man. It's just it's like a lot of guys they don't know when they do a swap like that. That first like couple of sessions is always like you're just trying to figure out the once I get my audio out to make sure that this on. But yeah, the first well you see a guy testing the car, that first session. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the earphones, you don't gotta use those stuff, man. But yeah, the first session is always like filling the car out and everything. So this is only my second my second session with the car. And also like I didn't let the clutch kind of break in, so I was doing laps to kind of break that friction, and then I would go into the drift or whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. If I glaze it over, I'll just swap it out before I sell it. But just let the guy know he got to put 500 miles on it before he starts drifting. We all know that shit out there, but it is what it is, man. So for spec out there, guys that run spec clutch, specs are not bad. You just got to break them in. You got to break them in, or they will slip on you. Because I've fucked some specs up in like 2 weeks, and also had specs that last many years. So to dispel that myth, I mean, I'm not sponsored by spec. I am a dealer for spec, but I see a lot of guys, just straight trashing them, man. So speaking of that, man, what do you guys run the most on for clutches over there and within your crew?
Oh man, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. A lot of guys are straight up eBaying it, like nothing too crazy. Like it's kind of where it's at because we're running budget builds, stuff like that. So you're talking. Sometimes we don't even know if they're real or not.
Yeah, man. Dude, that's just like getting it done, man. Because I respect that more than dudes who like try to like do the top shelf builds and they just dicks, man. Like I've been in these games for a long time. That particular dude who like it's HKS or nothing, and I'm like, dude, give me that. Like I'll tell the guy, I don't do car meets. I don't do cars and coffee. For me personally, the vibe, man. It's always the guys that, it's like the dudes who like they buy all the fucking pre-workout shit. Like, man, I'm gonna work out one day. I'm gonna get big one day. I'm like, dude, go fucking just work out. Go to the gym. And those guys are those guys. If you're a car show guy, you watching this, you get offended. I'm sorry, but you guys like you sit around in a circle jerk and like you talk about what your car could do. I'm like, oh yeah, can it do it though? That's how I look at guys set up. I looked at one guy set up. He was being a jerk. And I'll try to be respectful and everything. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this, man. I don't mind being a jerk. And I was like, dude, I took your car. If I take your car to the track right now, number one, everything would rub. I would blow all your fucking couplers off because your couplers are like undersized and they're like barely holding a coupler on. And I can see under the coupler, he don't have any, they did an intercooler kit with no, what is it? They didn't have a roller. So the couplers were just smooth. The piping was smooth. And you know from experience what happens with that. On the boost,
slide right off.
Right, so I'm like, dude, so I'll blow all your couplers off. I wouldn't be able to turn, and then I was like, I just pretty much picked this car apart. And he's like, then he like actually became a friend of mine, like by that berating because I'm like, dude, he said, nobody ever told me that. They just like said I got HKS this and told me that and Garrett this. I'm like, the fucking parts don't matter, man. It's the execution, and that's where I think a lot of dudes they spend so much time You know what I mean? I did eBay stuff, man. You know, it's now with the D1 cars, I kind of got to make sure I got to do a different greater stuff. But there's levels to it, and what guys out there don't understand is I'm in the industry, so I know a lot about things. I'm not gonna put it out there, but there's a lot of things where you think it's coming from one place, but it ain't really coming from there. So it is what it is. That stuff, you just gotta do your research on it. And when Google, again, you're 33. When you first started, there was no Google really. Like there was, you know, what I mean?
Magazine.
Yeah, there was car magazines. There was the Haynes manuals in AutoZone that you would get in trouble for stealing a page out of it or copying it down. And now these dudes got Google and they don't even utilize it. They don't.
Not at all.
I'm like, bro,
not at all
that shit you're asking me is online. Not to be a dick, but you know what I mean? Search is like use the search button, man.
No, I mean just take a look around, see what people are doing, looking in on their builds. Yeah. Read some forums. The forums aren't always right. I was gonna
ask you, man, what forums were you because I know you're old enough to be a part of forums. What forums were you on? Or I mean, I'm not active. I know we're all subscribed. We're all signed up on it, but I don't go there anymore.
DriftWorks. I'm on some Volkswagen forums. Actually, my daily is a 2012 GLI.
Okay.
So I'm on a few of those. I've been on a few for some of the LS motors. We've been trying to get a little more keen on it. Just had 2 guys working on swaps. We got a 5.3 turbo going into one of the FCs.
Okay.
So it's going to be nice, but for forum wise, most have migrated to Facebook,
right?
But we're still like not getting the real builds. Where with forums, I can go back to like 2002, at the 56K killer downloaded photo. Yeah. I can see everything.
Yeah, the only ones that suck was the dudes like I used before. It was a Photo Bucket, Image Shack, and then they all like kind of like so all my Image Shack stuff is like gone. It's just like. They sold it to somebody, man. So like, I think what was Photo Bucket was the one that they made you pay, and then it was all blank, and then I guess enough people slapped their penis. They was like, we'll turn it back on, and everything, man. So the forums were,
Flickr too. Flickr is one of those.
Yeah, man. So it's like you mentioned that too. The builds, like I got a bunch of builds. Well, not a bunch. I got my one car that I was like building over multiple years. It was a 240. Which became respectable by the time I left America. When I got the first deployment money, and I painted the car, rattle canned it, put wheels on it, tires on it, and then I got it just sat and everything. So, but yeah, it's like the forums. It's just the Facebook is just faster, man. Like it's always somebody on. The forums, you put something down there, and then like if it's I don't like. Like Zilvia was the fastest one, but Zilvia, man, Zilvia was a bunch of those guys I just mentioned where they had those gritty top shelf parts and they would just pretend to be Tanner Faust, but I'm like, nah, dude, you got to go drive to be Tanner Faust, and they would just they hit that vibe, man, where they would look down. I mean, I got a thing where I was in this multiple times of doing it wrong or whatever. They would take pictures of me doing shit and then put it in there, and then like. Now I like to look back and say, hey man, well I'm here and you guys are there, and it's like you shouldn't do that to people, man, because you don't know their potential or whatever. And Zilvia had the best classifieds, but I couldn't stomach the main forum because of some of the people there, man. And I actually ran into a guy. It was funny. I had an argument with a guy on Zilvia. This is how small the world is, guys. I had an argument with this guy on Zilvia. It got pretty heated, and I didn't think twice about it. And then the guy was in my house in Japan, and we didn't know. And we just mentioned forums. He's like, "Yeah, I'm this guy." I'm like, "Oh, you that fucking dude?" And I'm big game hit. He was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "He's like, yeah, man. Well, I didn't mean it like that." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man." So it was, So what's the fucking odds, man? Some random dudes argue on Zilvia, and then 5 years later. They
out in the same room.
End up in the same room in Japan. Like that's how small the world is, man. So like that's the social media stuff. I think a lot of guys, just like you're talking to me now, man. I'll be the same way in face to face. And I think a lot of the younger guys, they kind of had that, like you say, that making themselves available. Yeah, come see me, come chat, come this, and then when you go to the event, they're like they like really standoffish or they're not that personality. And that's what my guy Lex we talk about. The same thing with the energy, where the guys have the energy online, and then when you get to them in person, they're introverts and shit like that, man. So it's easy to do it when you're by yourself, man. So yeah, so like for like I definitely will get all of you guys just like the YouTube and everything, and
Okay.
I'll throw that down there. So definitely we'll get that and everything, man. So other than that,
Yep.
man, like I said, we're further along in the thing. I didn't want to ask you this before because YouTube tags if I say Corona in the first like 10 minutes, they'll tag my video. So yeah, so that's why I didn't mention it at all. But the how's everything been for you overall, and then like how's everything going with the whole like I ask everybody this in different places, all different. How's everything going with that stuff, man? And what's your outlook on when it's going to be return back to normal?
I think normal is one of them funny words.
Yeah,
Uh,
never.
for us, I mean, we've done what we can. I mean, we hooked it up with our little masks. You know,
Nice,
we
nice.
got like our own little thing. You know, everybody's got to have one.
Yeah,
So we're like, why not have ones at least for Formula Drift? So when we went out there, we passed out a bunch of them, just kind of got them out. But it changed a lot. I don't know how quick it's gonna get back to normal. But even with FD, our ability to get in and be a part of the pits and like communicate with the drivers, it was kind of cut back.
Right.
So we couldn't like do the little autograph sessions or anything like that, but we were able to talk with a lot of the builders. So a lot of the guys like in the pits and the crew, they were accessible. It was just mask, keep your 6 feet, and kind of go from there.
Right.
So you were talking about people who say, you know, when I was telling you people the nuts and bolts of it, like, hey, come see me, that kind of thing, and then
Right.
no energy. I got to meet Papadakis.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for me, being a Honda guy, that was almost more important than being at FD.
Right.
Where a lot of these other guys were like, oh, that's the dude. And I'm like, no, this is the man. Like,
Yeah. He was around.
and
Yeah.
all they know is Hoonigan, Donut Media, you know, that kind of thing. So I kind of take a step back and I go, these are the guys you need to be talking to
Right.
and getting information from. He's the reason the A90 is in Formula D. I mean, obviously everybody was going to have a car and one in there, but out of the stock motor to get 1,000 horsepower, I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But
with Papadakis, man, like Papadakis, a lot of guys, you know, Papadakis was one of those dudes where when I was coming up, he was all over Super Street, all over Import Tuner. And like, a lot of guys know, I mean, most guys know Papadakis from drag racing. That's where, so when he got into drifting, I was like, huh? And then he actually drove like half a season.
He drove.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So it was like, all I knew of Papadakis was drag, because he had the fastest cars for forever.
Yep.
And everything. So then, but that same like power is power. It just, you know, you put fucking whatever in anything, and then you know make the suspension do whatever it does, and power's gonna do power's gonna do power. So he can make power, like, and that's his thing, man. So it's kind of cool to see him still in the scene, and a lot of guys I think they're older, they're like the social media stuff, but like, dude, you guys can get some extra side money and business off of this if you kind of, you know, he got the page now. He showed the one of the first people to break down break down the engine from the A90, and yeah, man, it's like, you know, some of the guys are utilizing it, some guys are not, but it's a cool thing. And like you mentioned before, man, social media is like all over the place. It's just how you use it, and I just me and my Facebook and Instagram is just promotion, and then my business is email and everything like that. But it could be utilized fine. It's just easy to get into the arguments and you know, man, it's with all this shit going on worldwide, man. It's like, dude, just focus on your builds and do what you gotta do for your family. And I think you're a family guy. I'm a family guy. It's like our mindsets are totally, dude. Last night I'm in my shop. I got a full shop. I got a Skyline on the lift, and I'm doing little trike bikes for my sons because they drifted the handlebars off of them, and I had to put like heavy duty rubber on it. Then the handlebars, they had like little tin metal, so I welded a collar around it so they can, because they're like turning the wheel, and the fucking handlebars are like, you know, moving back and forth. So I'm like, man, I'll fix this shit. So I bring out the TIG welder, weld that shit up, put some new things on a zip tie, done, and they out there, and I put some little stickers on it, man. It's like, as a father, man, and a parent that's a good parent, because there's shitty ones out there. A good parent, man, it's like, you know, we definitely, you know, our mindset is different than a dude who no kids and, you know, got a nice car, but their mindset is just all about them and things like that, man. So, as far as your you have one kid or multiple kids or?
I've got one
Okay.
kid. She's 3, so
Yeah.
we just started preschool like a month ago with Corona.
Okay.
So that's a little strange too. She's
Yeah.
got a mask all day. They keep distance. They have 2 or 3 attendants, like adults, kind of watching them throughout.
Mm.
It's interesting. But when you tapped in on guys with cars, and kind of no responsibility,
Yeah.
it let me put more time into my vehicles that was required, less time into aero and things like that.
Right.
So I kind of learned then and there, like, hey, you're not going to be able to have that $45,000 car chilling there and be able to actually enjoy it, drive it, use it. Um, it's time, it's family. You want to spend the time with them. So I'm kind of getting to a point where that's why it's fun for me to kind of do the media and the social stuff behind the scenes,
Right.
be at the event in person. Because that's kind of like my little break.
Right.
I bring my family a lot, so they hang out at the tent. It's good. I mean, it's nice. It's good to have different priorities because now I'm actually focusing on the car and what's required,
Right.
and then I can kind of tap into the fun stuff. Most guys will go straight for aero and paint,
Yep.
and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
That's not gonna help you there, man. That's not gonna help you in the outer
yeah,
bank. So. Yeah, it's with that, man. You meant like again, it makes me smile, man, because that's the same thing. It's like again, I'm at the point where I wanted to be like back in the day. I was like, man, I can't wait to get a TIG welder, and I'm just gonna weld the world up. And like you get a TIG welder, and you fire it up only when you're doing something. Like you don't, it's just like with the business side of things, like what you think you're gonna do and what you're actually gonna do. It's like I can fuck off all the time, but every time I'm not at the shop, the money kind of just stops. Like did stop. So it's a lot of things where a lot of the guys here local don't understand. I can make the events. Like I could have went. There was 2 events, one Saturday, one Sunday, one Saturday. We don't need events here, but it was just a gathering. It's nice to be with a bunch of people. And again, Nakamura came up from Okinawa, so Osaka.
yeah.
So like of course it was people who showed up that would never show up because they wanna show Nakamura their skills, and the guy was like, dude, everybody was like just sending it into the tire pit, just like the hardest they can. And the thing about Naoki, which, he's like, cool, yeah, okay. He don't really give a fuck, man. He's like, he only care about history.
He's like,
yeah,
it's in the ultimate full sin.
Yeah. So he does it all the time so much. It would take, I think the only person in the industry that probably can like make him go wild is Daigo, and they battle back and forth, man. And it's like, even though, man, he still like kind of does his own thing, which I was told by Minto Still from Drift Crash. He's like, yo, Nakamura, the reason why he's so good because he just don't care about anybody else, and not saying in a bad way, but he only focuses on his driving and not like what LZ is doing or what this guy is doing and what Forsberg is doing and what Matt Mike is doing. He does what he does, and he's good at it. And he's unassuming. If you ran into the guy at the train station, you would not think he's one of the best drifters in the world. He just don't look. He looks unassuming. He doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't look.
Yeah, people kind of put you up there,
right?
But it's crazy to see somebody like that because when you are up there and you're up top, right. There's no playing it. There's no front. Right. It's just that's who they are.
Right.
So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, Daigo's the same way, man. For Daigo could be like a rock star, like
not, man, they're not ready for him.
Yeah, he could be like a if he wanted to be, because he's got enough money from winnings and whatever else he does, man. He could be like a jerk, but he's the quietest dude. But like behind that wheel, same thing with my guy Masanori here, man. Like behind the wheel, man, it's like the guy's just like you could hear his aggression through the exhaust notes. I've been around Daigo a bunch drifting and everything. I've had Daigo run up on the back of me. I'm like fuck, and I'm like trying to go faster and shit, man. It's like, Daigo will be at FD when he was doing FD. At his rookie season at FD, he was like 2 days before, he was at a Bishu banging around in a banged up JZ90 Chaser, just like banging doors with anybody. Didn't care. No hazard lights, because Japanese, what they'll do when you get here, they'll if you're not in that group, they won't drift with you, man. Unless
that's what I thought.
And so you'll be driving, they'll put on their hazards and make you go around and everything, and then they'll just keep doing it. And I say this one story a bunch, man. Like one guy kept doing it to me, and I kind of was getting pissed off because it was like he's kind of like belittling my skills without even knowing me. So that he did it 3 times on a school course at the Bisu, and I'm like, fuck this. The next time he does it every time, so I know what the space I got. So he fucking put on his hazards, and I kicked it. I came behind him, Manji, and kicked it wide, and I was like looking out my front glass, into his mirror and I waved at him and then continued drifting and then switched back right like. And then after that they came to me like, oh, Sugoi skill, and then after that they let me drift with him. So it took me took me doing some Top Gun Pete Maverick shit to get, you know what I'm saying? I had to take a fucking picture upside downwards to get in the crew. But yeah, so Japan is cool, guys, but the guys that come over here again talking general, guys, just if they do that to you, don't get it angry, because as Americans we're kind of more aggressive. They're not doing it on purpose. It's just how they do over here, man. So don't take it personal when a crew like kind of like shuns you off. Just like do your thing, drive, and then they'll be like, okay, cool, and they just don't want to get that shit crashing to. And the guys with the missile shit, they wasn't sure who was the guys crashing into or trying to, because some of the Australian guys, they were just I wouldn't do this, but they would just run up on anybody. There's a car there, I'm gonna put my door on it, and they were like, oh dude, I don't want to
tap the doors. Yeah.
They don't want to do that kind of stuff, man. I don't mind it.
We got that here, just nothing that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
Everybody knows once you step into tandems, it's kind of like, all right, I gotta watch my ass.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the times if it's a train, it's mostly dense because everybody's so close together. The speed is the same, so when they touch and stop, you can have 3 cars. They just get like a little dent on the door. But unless you're that fucking one dude who's just like coming in like a missile, he's trying to catch up, and then smacks into somebody.
The lower power, we have more issues with lower powered cars trying to keep up than anything. So you'll have like the FRSs or the BRZs, some of the rear wheel drive converted Subis, and they're trying to stay with the crew, and they can't. There's not enough power there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they'll do that at every event. You'll have like 2 or 3 pro charge vets and a couple 350Zs in the same corner. You see a BRZ come out of nowhere just trying to be on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, from a guy who built my Subaru truck, man, that they're just not really meant to. It takes a lot of R&D to get that thing to slide because the wheelbase, it's twitchy as fuck. And I mean, mine don't help because I cut the hatch out of mine is a truck.
Oh.
And I converted to rear-wheel drive, and I just blew the diff again last week. Actually, it was an R160. So if you're gonna do the Subaru, you definitely gotta hit an R180 or something bigger. Yeah, the R160 is just not made for rear-wheel drive power. The engine's fine, the Haltech is good, but the I get about maybe 2.5 months out of R160. You know, they're not. I mean, literally the fucking pinion. I would say the pinion is like that big. It's about the size of a tennis ball. So that thing. So I broke one I drove down to Saitama. It went out on me in the highway. Guy had to pick me up and everything. But yeah, man, it's like I say, as far as Japan, man, it's cool for the guys again to watching in your circle. They'll probably be intrigued about it. The thing I tell guys, I'm telling you, man, it's the same. It's the same grind, man. It's the same grind, same parts ordering, same parts waiting. Even though we're in Japan, the biggest thing is I buy a lot of shit from America and Europe because like for my 1UZ, I had to buy a manifold from the upper plenum, and I bought the oil pan from the same guy because there's no spare parts. Japan they do all or nothing, so you can't find you can't find a oil pan for RB26. They want to sell you the whole fucking engine. So you got to buy the whole engine and get all-wheel drive oil pan and do what you got to do and all that stuff. But it's easier to go to CX Racing and get the already aluminum modified one. So that's what I do, man. I can modify myself, but again, family and that
family time effort. Yeah.
The hour it takes to cut the damn all-wheel drive shit off and take the thing out. I've done it a bunch of times, and I'm like, dude, fuck this. Order. And I go about my day. Part comes in, and then I'll put it in the fucking car with the rest of the parts. So it's the same.
Yeah, I started with the LS400.
Yeah.
So I know all about 1UZ.
The starter location was the best in the world.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Third time I had to do it, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Well, me, it's the engines with the standalone kit I got on it, the ECU and the general setup. It's easy to work on, but I got to pull because I got the solid mounts from Collins, and they don't flex. So the engine doesn't rock back when you pull the trans. So I got to pull the whole fucking thing out all at one to get the to separate it. and take it out. So before I sell it, I got to do it anyway, just to make sure the customer has a fresh clutch. Just the way I roll, and that way, you know, because it is kind of partially glazed, partially catching. I can't sell a car like that. Yeah,
I sold mine for like I couldn't even get rid of it.
Oh yeah,
like, people. It's interesting. I think we delivered it. We delivered it for $650. Like brought it on the trailer, dropped it off at the dude's house.
Basically, it made no money. It was like basically like that was basically fuel and
paid $550, put like 4 or 5 in it, and sold it for $650.
Yeah, but I will say, man, from the tuning I did to it with the aftermarket ECU, I'm running an ECU from Africa called Spitronics. And they're big in the Dakar racing. So 1UZs are big in Africa. So I was looking for like another option because I was like, honestly, I don't want to get Link or Haltech for something. I know I'm going to sell this car, and that was a little bit of money spent. So I paid about $600 or $700 ship for the standalone ECU. Wired it in, works perfect, man. I got this came with the trigger wheel. It was a flying leads kit, so you had to wire everything up yourself and start it up, man. The tuning is there. It got, I would say, it's a little bit above Power FC and like right in the middle of Link and Haltech as far as capability. So it's not trash, and it's also really rugged, man. So it's like one of those things, man, where I'm not afraid myself to try products. And I think a lot of guys, like you say, you guys get parts of eBay. It's like, dude, Megan Racing, ISR, which was now ISR. They all
there's a crew.
Yeah,
they got
that stuff is good, man.
It started off nothing.
Yeah. All that people don't realize, man. Megan Racing started on eBay. eBay gets a bad name. eBay is just a fucking storefront. The companies on there, they do what they do. eBay is not responsible for it's a misnomer, and everybody throws around eBay. You could put Craigslist in that same category too.
Yeah, you can.
So. It's like in Yahoo Auctions here in Japan, there's no eBay, but Yahoo Auctions is the same thing. It's like it's used. The person will say, consider a rebuild, change out the water pump, because there's no claim, no return. So Yahoo is like Wild Wild West. Well, eBay, you got the PayPal, you got that stuff. There's a little bit of protection, but yeah, man, I utilize eBay still to this day in Japan, and it's just people find it weird that I'm online like, hey man, anybody got a rear sump? I was online looking for a rear sump oil pan. I actually found one here. I was like, rear sump oil pan for 1JZ, and nobody had one, man. So I was like, they was like, you're in Japan, dude. I'm like, dude, trust me.
They just think you own every part in existence.
I checked with one guy who's right by Top Secret, and I didn't. He's an RB guy. He got a lot of RBs like me. So I was like, man, he don't got the one. He's like, and I was like, hey, Kansan, you got a rear sump? He's like, yeah, I got one. I was like, no shit. How much? He could he sent it up and everything. And this guy, Top Secret, is here, and his shop is here. Like, no shit. But more people go to his shop because he's opening, and he's a prior D1 guy. Top Secret, I just kind of drove by, and I was like, nah, I don't want to go in there because I already knew they get so many visitors every day that they actually have a sign now that says don't enter unless appointment. Because and I understand from a business guy, I can't. I told guys if they want to check out the shop, come at like 1600, because at that time I'm kind of wrapping up stuff, and if it's between 9 o'clock and that time, it's like I'm flat out, man. So I don't have time to really chat. You know what I'm saying? So it's I understand that, man. From a business aspect, if you get visitors and visitors and visitors, you got to stop working, or if you're working on something that's top secret. You don't really want cameras and shit in there and stuff like that. So
yeah, and your brand name kind of is like really want you here.
Right. Yeah. So it's but anyway, guys go to Content Shop, which I put him up on YouTube a little while ago. Cool dude, OG. He's OG son. I know he doesn't have to work. I know he makes enough money to stay home, but he's just in it, man. I think that's how we will be. We'll be gray in a beard. Yeah. And we'll be those old guys with the older guys normally have the better cars because they got money.
They do.
so
some of my favorite cars at the track, it's these dudes that are like 50, 55. I'm like, why are you out here?
Because they were in our shoes at one point, man. So it's like now they got that C whatever the fuck C9 they're on now, Corvette or whatever.
Yeah, CD09. Yeah, CD09.
Yeah, it's like. We wanted to do it, and I think we're to that point now, man. You're definitely older. I'm older. We're like kind of doing the things that we dreamed about in the magazines back in the day. So that's cool, man. But yeah, man. What's coming up for you guys in the future, near future, or whatever thing, or if you could talk about it.
Yeah. This weekend, actually, Saturday and Sunday, we've got Import Face Off. It kind of runs through all the United States. They do their own thing. With the KC Drift organization, we've got the opportunity for a Saturday. So they're doing a Friday night camp out.
Right.
We're going to lay out the track, get an idea of what we want to do for Saturday, and then hopefully switch the track up for Sunday.
Okay.
But you've got Import Face Off. They've got the drag racing. They've got the car show, the two-step contest, bikini contest, all that kind of crazy old school, like hot import nights kind of vibe. And then we're just over off in the corner doing our little drift thing on the skid pad. So what's cool is basically we're just kind of inviting anyone that wants to come out. It's a great day for seat time. You get to see a couple of local celebrities. I think we got Shredder coming out from Hyperdrive as well. So Shredder will be out there, stuff like that. So the benefit for us is just to get more people involved in drifting. So it's a good time. So Saturday is a great day for guys that just kind of want to do their thing, and then Sunday is kind of like everybody on the track.
Right. No, man, that definitely, it's cool to hear, man. As far as my shop, I definitely looking at once I get the capital. I'll host my own events, like kind of like Nakamura. He paid for the event, came up here and everything. He don't have to do that. He's good. He's good enough on his own. So, and to come all the way from Osaka to all the way up here, that's about 14, 15 hours by land. He brought his car up here and everything. And for you guys, what you're doing, man, it's always that, like, it'll be somebody at that event, maybe one or two people from the event that you guys do. You say you're on a skid pad, but that one guy be like, dude, he'll get a test ride or ride along, and that'll convert some dude, man, and like you'll be some dude's starting point, and it's like cool.
That's awesome.
When we get old enough where guys say, hey, man, I was following you when I was in middle school. I'm like, damn, dude, like I don't feel old, but I feel old now. Like he's like, I was looking at your videos because it's like you don't realize YouTube's been around this fucking
forever.
It's been around forever now. Before it was what Street Fighter and like E-Bomb, and then YouTube took over and just like bam. And now Vimeo had a little run for like when HD, because
they did,
they had HD because I remember Will Rogue and those guys were doing the slow motion drift videos for that one summer, and Vimeo, I just didn't like I didn't like the format. So YouTube and that thing,
more of an upload format, less of a viewership.
Yeah, it was more for Vimeo was more for, and I think it's still around. It's more for like that, I guess like artsy production type stuff, man.
Yes,
and I put a few videos there, but then I think I do believe Vimeo did have HD first. That's why it popped off a little bit, and then YouTube was like, let's get 60 frames per second HD.
Yep.
Yeah. So YouTube, it is what it is. We're going to be on YouTube. I don't bash them. I took a hiatus because YouTube changed. I mean, I was averaging about 2,000 to 3,000 views. And then overnight, I was getting like 30, 40 views. And
it's insane.
It is what it is. That's why I started the podcast. Because I was like, dude, I don't want to shoot all these videos, make the videos, and then like get 30 You know how make a video, how much time.
I know all about it. Yeah, we'll have an event. 500-600 people show up to the event. Right. We've got like 60 drivers, and we'll have like 8 views. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, man, it's like they're throttling. I mean, I'm not. They if somebody from YouTube's watching my video, cool. But they throttle. Yeah, it's cool. Just again, we brought up LZ and a few other guys, man, and like they took the cake and they're like, all right, cool, let's pull some of that money back because we made a few too many millionaires, man, or whatever, and whatever how much they're making good money. I mean, I looked at my analytics, I made $6 or something in the last 20 days, so I'm killing it, man. So it's I get it.
What we're looking to be, man. We're just trying to get like you.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, I mean, eventually we want to shop.
Right.
We want kind of our own kind of get up. We just want to be able to support like the local military community.
Right.
So it is kind of dope seeing it kind of already exist. Obviously, we don't have the Japan part.
Right.
But the overall initial hype is pretty cool. Just knowing that, hey, if I have a friend that's going to Misawa, I can be like, hey, check this dude out.
Yeah.
You've got options. You've got places to go and shops to go all across the United States, all across the world.
Yeah, man. That's the biggest thing I looked at do on my thing. And that's why again when we were talking or whatever, I was like I always extend it. And most people don't. They be like, oh, some people just. I understand some people just they they camera shy. They don't like to be on the camera. That's cool. I actually hit up Ken Harrison from Injugu, who a lot of guys know. He's the guy. And I was like, hey Ken, we know we've never talked to each other verbally. We've only communicated over email. And I was like, hey man, it would be cool to talk. He's like, I don't do cameras. I was like, all right, cool, respect it. But like it was cool. He told me right away. Some guys, like I still got about 5 or 6 dudes who like, I'll get back to you, man. I'm like, all right, well that means you don't want to do it. But like yourself, you like it was like seconds. You're like, yeah, dude, I'm down. And I was like, cool,
of course,
yeah, man. And I don't understand. It's promoting the circles and me getting to know your guys getting to know me. So it's like I don't like, hey man, cool.
Yeah, for us, we just want to be able to. That's why I'm kind of normally behind the scenes, right. And then I was like, this benefits the crew, it benefits the whole. It's something that I kind of just have to step out and do because these guys, they don't even like being on camera.
Oh yeah.
So then I'm running around with the camera in their face all day. Yeah. Hey, something. What do you think about that? that tandem,
right?
And they're like, bro, I just hit the gas and went. Yeah. And I'm like, I need something. Give me something.
Yeah.
So it kind of breaks them up a little bit, and then the things that I didn't do when I was their age, I can kind of be like, hey, take this opportunity,
right?
Because it's only going to be there for so long,
right? Yeah, it's that's one of the things, man. It's like you gotta the biggest thing I tell guys there is watching again who's getting into it by again from your circle, whatever, man. It's like just be careful about the whole sponsor thing, man. And I was a sponsored driver and all that stuff, and one of the things that was like a reality slap to me was having all these stickers on my car and then like not even making top 32. And it's like you got a guy with a blank car who's in who wins the event. You know what I mean? It's like, so then you look like a dickhead because he has no support. And you got all this support, but not really. And just be careful about the sponsor thing, man. And like, don't every email you get, like, say opportunities, you want to take them, but ask questions like, hey man, what are you guys gonna do for me? What's the contract? If you ask for a contract, then they're like, no, we're cool, man. We just handshake on them. Like, nah, they're gonna use you, and then like they're just gonna discard you, man. So a bunch of my guys I got rid of. So just be careful about that, guys out there looking to come up in the scene and things. Okay. For this, I'm talking directly to like the general viewers who are looking to get into it, man. Like it's just it's one of those things where you don't need, again, like you said, you don't need crazy angle, you don't need a Rocket Bunny kit with pearlescent paint job. Like that's not gonna do it for you, man. Like just driving a bone stock KA, until you can get up there, diff, seat, steering wheel and coals. That's it. That's all you need. Yeah. And a pair of balls, man. If you're a dude, if you're a girl, you're a girl, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? So it's or you're in between with you're not going to transgender or whatever. Do your thing, man. So it's like but yeah, man, I got to get out of here because I got inspections coming up for checking in. Like what's happening right now is I was telling you about the inspections. I'm the besides doing my export, I do the government. So all of the government cars coming in or out, they process through my shop. So even if the guys don't come to my shop, they got to come here. Then they be like, man, y'all didn't come there because this. Like, dude, they be giving me excuses of why they didn't come to my shop. I'm like, dude, you do your thing, man. Like, it's not. Trust me, man. My train is going continuously, so I won't stop.
There's a reason you're the guy, for those. So they'll learn. Yeah. Learn.
And I don't feel like other than forming guys, man. I don't feel like I don't do base events and promotion because I'm like, dude, and I hate to sound like I guess big-headed about it, but I'm like, dude, everybody in Masawa knows about me. It's just whether they choose to come here or not. Trust me, man. Everybody knows. It's just some guys will hear certain things, and some guys the energy, man. If you're like, again, like how our conversation is, I know we could talk it up anytime, but some dudes, they just want to try they want to just like, I guess, test your knowledge always, and
they try to test it.
I hate that shit, man. Like, when you mentioned Honda, I could have been like, hey man, so what'd you do about that P11 plug and the distributor thing?
Yeah,
like, nobody cares about that shit, man. Like, it starts and it runs. That's all that matters, man. So like, dudes be trying to like do that shit. I'm like, bro, like, I got a shop, bro. Like, you should. And I've been running for 5 years now. I know a little bit of stuff, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it is, you know, that's another conversation, man. But we'll definitely chat it up again, man. What I plan on doing is I like to you know, once the season is over or whatever, I like to talk to guys or whatever. So if you guys, you know, I mean, if you're cool with coming back, maybe if you guys like, you know, even want to have some other drivers
I'd like to get the crew. Yeah, maybe do the crew.
Yeah.
Like that.
So we'll probably do that and everything, man, and work that way out, man. So again, just let people know where they can find you at. Then I'll of course link it down there in the end.
Okay, cool. Basic for us, it's just www.skiddybois.com. SKIDDYBOIS. Hashtag SkiddyBois at SkiddyBois Instagram. We're out there. We're at the events. We're in the Midwest. I like to say we try to get to Texas as much as we can, Oklahoma, those kind of places. But if you see us out and about, the real nuts and bolts, we're going to be there for you. We're going to communicate. We're not going to be like them other dudes. So if you're just looking to hang out, get along with folks, just come on through.
Good stuff, man. You guys heard it there for the guy Kyle, and I definitely make sure you guys go out there and check him out. If you go check out the page, just it takes 1 second to click like on it, or you can just go on all those other pages and argue about dumb shit that doesn't pertain to your life.
Sounds good.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's how I keep it, man. My timeline is full of cars and everything, man. So guys out there, stay positive, stay smart with all this Corona stuff. Be safe and do what you gotta do, man. But it's gonna be over just like everything else. So just keep building those cars and get ready, man. So again, it's gonna be Donnie signing out from Masao, Japan. Pinku Style. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Send any questions you have to podcast@pinkustyle.com. And if you would like to be a guest on it, just shoot your information, just like Kyle did to my email, and we'll get it in, man. So again, open to talk to anybody. If you're a car guy, I'll talk to you, man. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are on the scene. We're all the same, man. So we're all stupid to everybody else for burning tires and shit. So we got to stick together. And it don't matter. Drag racing rally is all the same. Like, you guys are, you know, spending this much money on tires and shit or whatever. Like, cool, man. You go buy stamps and shit and baseball cards. So, all right, cool, guys. See you guys later. And again, subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you guys later. It's going to be Donnie signing out.